Right, all right. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so just FYI, everybody, over this week I will be moving. So just know we'll have kind of a funky pattern for videos, probably for like 2 to 3 days. Probably things will start to level back out. I think I'll be moving heavily Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Originally, I thought it was going to be Thursday. It's things have shifted and they're moving faster, which is great. But just know that if it's a little bit funky, that will be why. I kind of anticipate still being able to see you guys late in the evening and still get collective messages out on the other channel. Just probably I'll lag behind a little bit with the zodiacs, but we'll get things sorted out again. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Cataclysmic Awakening, Jeannie Vale, Nikki O, Anishta, and Lauren. Hi, babes. Okay, so we are starting out with a highly specific message, but this one is a little bit different in the sense that normally if I do a specific message, it's because something randomly popped into my head. This is not quite like that. This is something that actually happened, but it's more okay, so unexpected behavior. Okay. There have been weird, unexpected things that have been occurring around me lately, behaviors I did not expect, good behaviors, bad behaviors, um, just unexpected things. And without making this too lengthy, there was like a guy riding his bike with no shirt on, and he had like fashioned like a jousting stick. This literally happened to me. He had fashioned like some kind of like a jousting stick and was like riding around, and he looked at me in Aries as I was walking him, and he circled his bike around, and like it was so crazy because I totally, like, sometimes you can read somebody's mind. He was like imagining that he was like, gonna come racing at me like we were on horses and gonna joust each other. And I don't know if it was the look on Aries' face, because Aries loves sticks and such. And if he had come toward us, Aries probably had that look of "I will bite your stick," And the guy made an abrupt turn, and then like a little bit later, this other guy, totally different person, old gentleman, riding by on his bike, and he was blasting Elvis, which I love. It was Blue Moon, which I haven't heard anybody else ever anywhere play that piece of music. And he's riding by, and I said, "I love that Elvis album." And he told me to F off. And then I noticed a couple, I was like walking down a sidewalk, and there were cars blocking my view that were parked along the sidewalk. I see that there is a nun. Now, I don't live in an area where there's any churches nearby, and I honestly have never seen a nun in full habit, outside of like a very, lovely Catholic, church or something. So it was just, all of it was so unexpected. And I don't know if the FU was actually at me or at the nun. I have no idea. It was just bizarre. All of it was so unexpected that I almost felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. And my takeaway from all that was simply, we humans, we do unexpected things. And while nothing was particularly terrible nor particularly good, it was all, honestly, I just thought it was all hilarious. But it made me think, okay, unexpected reactions, interactions, that's what I got out of all of that. Expect the unexpected. So with that in mind, let's see what we've got. So we have the Judgment card. By the way, sorry that was so lengthy to explain. We have the Devil. We have the Two of Swords. We ended up with that Knight of Cups in the reverse, and we have the Knight of Wands upright. This is kind of a hot mess, right? Because we should have the desire to maybe piece things back together, to make amends, but we still have all this toxic behavior. We have a feminine who seems unable to see the toxic behavior, but she senses, I don't want to let somebody back in, even if there should be some kind of grace given or some opportunity to fix things. But we don't really have, even on her side, we don't have consistent behavior. I think she's going to be surprised by her own reaction. I think her intuition is speaking louder than her conscious mind right now. I think she's not attracted to whomever this person is, but she hasn't identified that. She may be saying, I wish that they would come back. I would love to patch things up with them. But if in truth this person was the devil, I mean, not the literal devil, obviously. I don't even believe in the devil. I just think we make bad decisions and we act petty. But this person was not a great match for her. And I think somewhere in her subconscious mind, she knows it. I think she actually isn't that drawn to them or doesn't have love for them and would secretly like to meet somebody else, would like to be single, would like to have other flirtations, but she might still be saying, at least in her mind, I really want to forgive them. I really want to get back together with them. I really hope that we can work things out. But I think her subconscious mind or her gut intuition is like, oh, hell no, you are not. I think she's the one going to have the unexpected reaction. Maybe I'm almost picturing somebody who's like very patient, very kind, very loving, very forgiving. And by the way, this could be a masculine or a feminine. It just happens to be a feminine here. She's putting up blockages all the while acting like she'd like to still give her heart, but I think that's bull. I don't think she actually does want to get back with this person. I think she may stun her own self by becoming more attracted to a total stranger. And it doesn't mean she's hopping into the sack with a total stranger or anything like that, but I think she is saying one thing, but her gut instinct is protecting her in the same way. And I think she's possibly going to meet somebody else. Hi, guys. Nice to see everybody. We've got the 7 of Cups. Yeah, she's confused even by her own emotions. This is a feminine who thought for the longest time she wanted to get back together with somebody. And that somebody was toxic, but she still wanted to work on things with them. And I don't think she was ever supposed to. I mean, we have the whole police force out here on horseback just saying like, stop. And if that's her inner voice or her inner gut instinct is like, don't do it. I know she's going to be surprised. Almost like a character trait in herself that she didn't know had been buried is going to come more to the surface. I'm not saying she was ever weak or, sorry, right now I'm picturing Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors. God, I can't think of her name right now. The original singer was so stellar in that. Audrey? Is her name Audrey? The version with Rick Moranis and God, I can't even think of her name. But in any case, I'm not saying that this is like a feminine who was, in love with the bad boy and didn't know how to get away from him until somebody better comes along and kind of rescues her. I don't see this as a rescue thing. I see this as her rescuing herself because she has a hell of a lot more backbone and a hell of a lot more intuition than maybe what she's given herself credit for. Maybe she was trying to give grace, being like, it's what I'm supposed to do is forgive somebody because maybe they're toxic because of what they've been through in their life. So that means I should keep giving them passes. And this is like, hell no, you shouldn't. And her gut knows it. Her gut says, I don't need to keep giving somebody access to me. In fact, there's other better lovers out there. In fact, I'm attractive. I should be treated like I'm a catch, and I kind of think even though she's not used to this side of herself coming to the surface, I think it's great to see this side of herself coming to the surface. Page of Coins, Ace of Swords sideways. We still don't have her consciously cutting them out of her life. We see her slowly doing things that show she's cutting them out of her life. I almost wonder if she's been like sending prayers to them all the time. Maybe she tolerated like a ton of crap from this person. You notice how we have somebody being puppeted. We have them sitting on piles of money. We see them, over here with maybe this feminine who's never going to be satisfied. This could be their ex. This could be like, they keep winding up in some kind of toxic environment. And she was telling herself again and again, I should be patient. They're my great love. They just can't help it that they're weak when it comes to money or that their karmic keeps pulling them back in. And it's like, no. She does not need to keep giving them passes. She needs to move on. In this story, it's very blunt, but I think what's cool about it is that I think she's been very compassionate, doesn't like to judge people, even though this is the judgment card. And it says we got to make judgment calls, though. Sometimes we have to make the judgment call on our own behavior. Like, hey, am I trying to give somebody passes instead of give them a dose of reality, which is like, hey, that behavior is unacceptable. Or, hey, maybe I need to stand up for myself a little bit and look to my own life and look to my own happiness. I still don't see her consciously cutting them out of her life. I see her recognizing that her life is starting to get more fun. The less she's busy sending prayers and energy to them, the more she's making the judgment call that maybe they've messed up their own life and maybe they did it. And maybe that's where they either want to stay or maybe that's where they should stay until they clean up their own mess instead of her devoting her beautiful energy at them all the time. I hope I don't sound like I'm being super harsh and rude, but I am like so on board with her cutting ties with this character. We get the Eight of Cups upright, walk away, walk away. We got the Three of Wands. Her future is not, it doesn't even have them in it. Her future is brighter, it's more fun, it's more adventurous, it's more lighthearted, and it doesn't involve her having to perpetually give passes for somebody who's trapped in their own, hell of their own making. If they're, always seduced by money, or they're so easily led back in by karmics and such, that's their issue. But she doesn't really need to say, oh, but I'm supposed to love them through it, and I should keep waiting for the day or just wishing for them to break free. Even if sometimes, look, two things can be true. A person can create their own nightmare, but they can also be victimized, by the karmic, or by, the need to pay off all these debts, until they find a way to say, you know what? There are some things that I just have to put up boundaries around, and I'm just thinking that she was giving a lot of compassion, a lot of understanding. And I do think she probably really loves this person truly, but that can also be true. I can love you, and I also can't be with you because you keep making messes. And I think her walking away is like, thank God her intuition carries her forward, even if her soul is so sweet and she wants so much to still wish this person so well and, send them all of her light. At some point, her intuition, like that, our gut, our intuition is a little bit more like salt of the earth. It's like, I'll screw this. You got a life to live. You're a mortal creature. Yes, it's great that you're a spiritual creature too, and that you can love somebody and, not heap shame upon them for their mistakes. But you know what? You got to eat. Mama's got to eat. And you need a lover, and you need somebody to fight beside you, and you need to go take a trip and a vacation, and you need to go flirt with some hottie, and you need to kiss somebody's lips who's not toxic. You gotta live. I just this is like the battle for a very spiritual person to also remember that they're a person too. We have got the Queen of Cups here. She is very loving, but I actually think her learning this lesson on how to be kind and spiritual, but not be a doormat, or how to be kind and spiritual, but not be like, you can't not still be connected to like the meat and potatoes of your real life. And this is her actually becoming, I would say, more spiritually grounded by making an intuitive decision or a gut-based decision, or letting her, I mean, look, our source of, I think anyway, our source of intuition, the thing that tells us like, I don't think I trust this person, I think that's a divine part of us also. It doesn't mean that we're judgy and mean. It means that we're listening to that instinctual voice that protects us. I think that's a divine part of us also. And it doesn't make us mean to say like, I don't like that. Something's off about that. I don't want to deal with it. You need to go clean up your messes. Those truths are divine also, because it's a truth as well. And I just feel like she's actually becoming more peaceful now that she's listening to the fact that she got a lot more backbone and a lot more instinct than she gave herself credit for. She's also loving herself more. And I think this is where her sense of peace comes from. She's starting to make like a better like life for herself. It's really great. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. This says she's not supposed to be with another person just yet, though. Perhaps she may be single, and that's for a reason. It might be because, here she's taking a single person's vacation. Here she's just now starting to have these new ideas that, hey, I'm kind of digging my life without, sending prayers to them 7 times a day. And, I'm not even keeping them on my radar anymore. I'm allowing myself to just live in my present. And this all says, yes, she needed to live in her present. She needs to sleep and eat and, do things that are good for herself, her mind, her body, all those things. She's supposed to be present, not even worry about the future too much for a hot minute. Just sit where you are. Just enjoy right where you're at. It's really nice to see her in a place of like peace. We have the 9 of Wands in the reverse. There is no big race. There is no big finish line. There isn't like, there's not more that she has to do other than for a minute just bring her energy back to herself. It's not even like, okay, now she has to focus on healing. It says, no, no, just be for a minute. Just enjoy not thinking about them so much. And I do think that they are fading from her mind. I think for a while, everything about them or everything in her life reminded them of her, or reminded her of them. And then I think after that, it became she would force herself to always think about them. I say that because we've got this statue that's made out of concrete. And now it's like, oh, I don't quite remember to think about them anymore. Jeannie Vale, thank you, Angel. You were so generous. Thank you, honey. You're so incredibly generous. With this Four of Wands that is coming out sideways, it's definitely one of those things where the repairs that are happening in her heart right now, in her spiritual self, the high vibrational energy, she sits in a throne of amethyst. She might be really drawn right now to the color white, to the color purple, to amethyst specifically. I know I get really drawn to colors at certain points in time. I'm not a pink person, but when I crave pink, I'm like, I have no idea why I like all these pink colors right now. I'd never go for pink. Right now, I will say I'm in a green mood. I'm turning my house green as I move, by the way, as opposed to like a deeper red that I've had for many years. And I'm like, I'm in my green era. I'm like Picasso. And green is more about like healing, I suppose, and nurturing and growth and wisdom. But red was like fire and passion. And now I think I'm like, in my old age, I'm like hitting, I just want to like grow my like intellect or something. But I think for this character, maybe colors are going to be important right now. White is purity. Purple is spirituality. But amethyst crystal, of course, is high vibration and spirituality and cleansing and healing as well. Also, just plain crystal could be really appealing to her as well. Even things, diamonds, rhinestones, things like that. But also I'm picturing like clear glass. She may, discover that she likes to drink out of, like wine goblets or like the crystal cut flutes and such. But it's more maybe because of the clarity. Everything comes across as clarity for her right now. Also some seashells here. Could be really appealing to her at this point in time. But all of it is because she's actually having like little internal repairs going on. She doesn't have to focus on the healing. It's just naturally occurring as she starts to focus more on her own present life, her happiness, some self-love. She will end up in a very happy ever after at some point in time with an individual, but they won't be the one that is so tangled up elsewhere in this never-ending cycle of toxicity. It's somebody completely different. It's not even somebody she needs to put her mind onto and be like, okay, so what am I supposed to do to prepare? This says it's going to be at the right time for her. I'm going to say spring, though. I mean, obviously, there's so many spring flowers. Page of Swords, Nine of Swords. If anything, at this moment in time, it just says for her, to like pay close attention to what kinds of things cause her stress and what kinds of things bring joy into her life. And this could be assessing other relationships in her life, what personalities stress her out. We have, whether or not we know it, we have relationships all the time, all day. We go into a grocery store. We just had a miniature relationship with the person we were trying to pass by on that aisle as we were trying to get to the ice cream sandwiches and they were trying to get to sorbet. We had a little mini relationship with them as we decided how to be polite and step out of each other's way, or, whatever it might have been. Maybe we were rude to each other because get the hell out of my way. I need my sorbet. But we have little miniature relationships all the time. And for her to recognize what throws me off, what kind of people like give me stress, that's important for her right now to start recognizing like patterns to it so that she can start to build maybe like, who am I drawn to that would be a good partner later on? Because if she maybe is someone who has been more empathic and this is like her guide to figure out wait a minute, maybe I am drawn to people that tend to have problems sometimes, because then I feel sad for them and then I want to be there for them. That's not a good, they stress me out. That's not who I should be looking for a partner. So let me see personality traits where they actually make me feel lighter and brighter and less stressed, because maybe those are things to pay close attention to. There's, in every like interaction that we have, we can spot, there's only so many personality types out there, right? We're all unique on one hand, but then there's also only so many ranges of human emotions that humans have. If you think back all the way to the BC era and you listen to the stories of Greek mythology, the gods and goddesses behaved exactly like humans do in 2025. There's cheating, there's jealousy, there's greed, there's fear, all those emotions, same emotions that our ancestors had in the BC era. They told stories about that. And they told, allegorical stories about the gods behaving that way. But we're still the exact same. So I don't think there's that many different personality types or like range of emotions, even though we are still uniquely different from each other, and how we display traits, what triggers us, how our brain can work, what ideas inspire us, what we'll create. But I still think that she has to look at, because she's very emotional, what does she like and what brings her stress, because she needs to avoid the stressor people like the plague, so she can have this happily ever after. She needs somebody she can dance with, somebody who doesn't come in with all their drama and like, well, listen, I do love you, but here's my big problem. If she's always ending up with people that have big problems, I'm so sorry, I'm sounding so sassy in this, I don't mean to be rude, but it's like, if she's consistently either being drawn to people with big problems where it's never their fault, but look at how bad everything is, look at how it's always an issue, and there's always a reason that they can't quite have a happily ever after. I think this is the whole storyline, says for her to start realizing, oh, I'm an empath. That's why I'm drawn to people that tell me a bit of their, I'm not going to say sob story, their conflicts, and I do feel sad for them, and I do empathize, and I do see where they could be stuck, and I give them too many passes instead of maybe saying, well, you should probably work on fixing that then. And I'm not saying she needs to start saying anything like that, but this storyline does hint, okay, more than hints, it's kind of like on the nose, that she's got to gravitate away from people that stress her out, that she feels stress for, because they're stuck in problems of their own making, so she can finally meet somebody who's making better choices, who's putting up boundaries themselves, who's choosing laughter and life and love instead of, well, see, I would like to have happiness, but there's always got to be drama because I won't cut myself free from a karmic, but it's the karmic's fault. That she's not going to deal with anybody like that anymore if she starts to identify where those cycles have been and kind of like frees herself. So I feel like that's why she's not with anybody just yet, because this is such a great time for her to like gather that information. And I still think this is a story of surprise for her. I think she's going to be very surprised that she looks at things differently. This is unexpected behavior from herself, which turns out to be really exciting. This is like the next chapter for her. That was a different one. You know what? I love it when we get stories that are completely different than others, and have different like messages to them. Doesn't mean anything is true or anything is good. I'm just always excited when we get something kind of fresh and a new perspective for characters. So that was a fun one. Lisa, you angel. Thank you so much, honey. Oh my God, you sweetheart. Lisa, can I do a little thank you for you on Monday and do a little card pull for you tomorrow? I'm gonna put your name down. If you don't want me to, I will cross you off. But otherwise, I'm gonna put you down here. Let me put you here. That was so sweet of you, honey. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, have a wonderful evening. Bobby Harris, sweet dreams. Nikki O, hi, honey. Thank you again. So nice to catch you. And Lauren, I'm glad it wasn't just me that was kind of enjoying the change of pace here. Geminis, hi, hun. So the let me backtrack. Awesome, Lisa. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I will be honored. We'll do that tomorrow, and I will timestamp for you. It'll be tomorrow night when I'm in the members corner. And speaking of that, all 5 of you that were just gifted a membership, that is Ellie, FK Slay, Nikki O, Caitlin B, and Rossi. You guys are all now members courtesy of Lisa. So just so you guys know, that means you have access to the members playlist, and you definitely want to pop by every Monday I do a members video. And so even if it's just for a second, pop over to that members video that I posted last Monday. It'll be the one at the top of the list in the playlist, because each week, if you just type the letter E into the members video, that gets you entered to win. And I do always choose just a couple members at random, and do some little 3-card storytelling. And then if you are a September birthday, also don't forget to let me know, because I do a little 3-card pull in honor of September birthdays. It's not too late if you're still a September baby. We're not into October yet. I have decided I'll just keep it like it's just 1 month at a time, instead of doing like a whole zodiac, because if I said it's all like Libra, I have to stagger things, because otherwise it's overwhelming. So instead of doing it by season, I do it by month, so that, like, obviously Libra spans the course of 2 months, all zodiacs do, and that gives me a chance to like spread it out. So anyway, if you are a brand new member and it is your birthday though this month, do let me know. Okay. We've got a little bit more time before we're into October. So anyway, you guys, so nice to see everybody. Mary Jones, hi, beauty. May, hi, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Good night, Travis. Sweet dreams. Tammy Secord, so wonderful to catch you. Hi, Taryn. And again, Jeannie Vale, thank you so much. Jeannie, can I say a thank you to you also tomorrow? I'm going to add you. I want to be able to say thank you to you, sweetheart. Let me know if you don't want me to, but I know you usually are okay with that, but I still don't want to trespass in case you want to say no. Nick, Dana, Black Butterfly 25, Empress Unicorn, Wajuna Wild, Soul Love, Calimera, Tecanate. Are you in Greece also, Soul Love? That makes me so happy. Linda. Yeah, maybe, Linda, leading up to an intense eclipse. You could be spot on with that. Victoria Rose Noel, so good to see you. Hi, AJ. Wendy Parker. Love that, Wendy. Rebecca L. Webb. Hello, darling. Moon Pony. Yeah, says Evelina Bach. Faristofuli. Annette Summersby. Lena Bora. Hi, honey. San Juanita's in the house. Hi. Oh, RT, thank you, honey. Helen Rain. Ingrid. It's funny. Yeah, the like crazy wild things that have been happening in the area that I'm moving out of. Maybe that's just like that's all the shifts that are going on. I don't know. It's the indicator that energy is shifting or something. Sarah Clark, so good to see you. Awesome, Jeannie. Okay, I'll get to you, honey. G, sweetie pie, have a great night. Violet, so nice to see you. Beth Ross, oh, thank you, sweetie. It's coming along. I got a lot done today, more than I would have expected. I was a sweat beast, let me tell you. Moving is like such a workout, and it feels like you went to the gym. All right, you guys, take care, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Shout out to all the other night owls that are here in spirit. AC 11D8. I don't think I saw Calm C here, but I saw Calm C's on the other RT, RS. Oh gosh, there's the light. Oh, there's so many of you guys, but sending you all lots of love. All right, you guys. Yes, Violet, yes. Inner knowing, thank you, hun. I know, Black Butterfly. I get to your story tomorrow, hun. All right, you guys. I hope that you have had a wonderful birthday month already, and I hope it continues on. Bye, guys.